Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of IET with Mike C. Man, I am so glad to be with you here today. And look, I know it's been a minute. It's been quite a few long minutes since our last episode, but we are back and we're going to do this thing, y'all. Now, let me give you a little bit of information on what you can expect from the new and revamped IET with Mike C. First, I'm going to tell you, because we got some new watchers, I'm sure. The first thing I'm going to tell you is what the IET stands for. The I stands for information. And we're going to be sharing all kind of information with you. We're going to be sharing we got some news we're going to be sharing with you. We're going to be sharing some sports with you. During the political time of the year, we're going to be sharing some politics with you. What we're going to try to do is we're going to try and dig deep and find the truth about these politicians and these different measures that are going to be on the ballots. And we're going to try to share that information with you so that what you can do is you can make educated guesses and you won't have to be that ballot guessing about anything. That's what we promise you that's what we're going to dig into, and we're going to find that. Hopefully we can have some politicians on from time to time as well. Now, the E stands for entertainment. We will be bringing you some gospel comics. Of course, we're going to be bringing you some gospel artists. We're going to be doing some interviews. For example, that song, our intro song is new as well. That is my boy. That is Anthony, A.K. King. And we're going to have Anthony come on at some point, and he'll talk about the inspiration for that song. It's a nice story that you'll want to hear. But we're going to have some other folks too, other artists. We're going to have some artists that have been around for a while, and we're going to have some new artists. Hopefully what we'll be able to do is we will be able to break new songs right here on IET with Mike C, and then we'll have the artist on and talk about the inspiration behind that new song. So we're going to do that. I'm really looking forward to the comedy too, man. We're going to have some Christian comics on here that are just funny. That's all I can say. They are just funny. So we're going to have them on. Then the third thing is the T. The T in IET stands for truth. It's not my truth. We're referring primarily to the truth of God, God's word, that truth. We're going to be sharing some of that with you from time to time as well. Now, look, sometimes we're only going to be having enough time to deal with one of those things. It might be information. Sometimes we'll have time for two, sometimes all three. But whatever is going to work, that's what we're going to do right here on IET with Mike C. Y'all stay with us. Keep checking us out, man. We got some folk that I think that you're going to enjoy watching and listening to. So stay tuned. Now, also, what we're going to be doing is we are going to have some folks come on and do commentaries. All right. We're going to have anywhere from 2 to 3 individuals that will do commentary. I may do a commentary from time to time myself as well. We're going to hopefully have a pastor who will be a regular member of the show doing commentary for us also. So stay tuned for that. You're going to want to check out all of that. We're going to be doing things like this next segment where we talk about, and we're not going to talk a lot about it because I know it's been talked in and out and through already, and that is the slap. We cannot have a show and not talk about the slap. What I want to know from you is I want to know, what was your immediate impression? What did you think when you first saw it? And then what do you think now? Because if you're like me, your opinion, your views, things have changed over a period of time here since it's been a couple of weeks now. When I first saw it, my initial impression was that was a punk move. That's what I thought. And actually, I even did a Facebook post, and what I said in the Facebook post was that if this is real, I am no longer a Will Smith fan. And sad to say that it did turn out to be real. That was really sad, man. I feel for everybody that was involved in that. So I thought it was a punk move. But I agree with something that Whoopi Goldberg said. She said what we have to do is we should be looking at the full body of work of Will Smith. We can't just throw the brother out behind this one mistake, and it was a mistake, a big mistake. But we have to and we should be looking at his full body of work. Now, look, we all know that Will started out as a rapper. And during the time that he was rapping, just not only gangster rap, but just the cursing and the belittling of women, that stuff was very prevalent, very prevalent. But Will did what Sinbad did in comedy. He didn't go down that road. And just like Sinbad, he was very successful within his craft. Still to this day, one of my favorite songs is Summertime, especially during the spring and summer. That's the jam right there. So he did his thing. Also, if you listen to other people who were in movies with Will, what you hear them say is how humble he was, how thoughtful and nice he was. You know, the brother was a very good representative for black folk here in America. And now he messed up. He did this one thing. So what I say is we can't throw the brother out with the bathwater. Now, this also reminds me of something that I learned when I first got into ministry, something that my pastor at a church in North Highlands, California, Robert D. Esther, said to us. He says, you have to remember the purpose of discipline. The purpose of discipline is correction, not punishment. Will Smith needs to be corrected for that grievous error he committed. He doesn't need to be punished. He needs to be corrected. And how that is going to be done, I don't know. I mean, there's some things already happening now. He's losing out on some movies. They're holding off on these movies that he actually, I think, had already started. Bad Boys 3, they had already started on the movie where they've pulled back on that. He's got to be corrected. Corrected so it doesn't happen again. Corrected also so other people, young people, can learn from him. Because the other thing I thought about when that happened was, how can anybody say anything about gang violence? How can we say anything about these young men that are killing one another behind a bunch of mess? Stuff that really is not worth death. How can we say anything to them when you have somebody of the stature of Will Smith goes and humiliates another black man on national TV like was done that night? Now, I have to say this as well. I was at the time, and I still am thoroughly impressed with Chris Rock because he handled that thing like the professional that he is. Chris, thank you, man, for your candor. Thank you for your professionalism. Thank you for your thought, because his comment, the only comment he made was basically saying he still had to digest this and think about this. And he still hasn't come out and said anything crazy or derogatory. Now, we know it's probably going to wind up being a part of his comic, when he does his Netflix show, because we know he's going to get another Netflix show, and we know it's going to be in there somewhere. But I also appreciate something that D.L. Hewley said. D.L. Hewley actually apologized to Chris Rock. He said, because what I didn't do is when that happened, I was just focused on Will like everybody else. He said, I didn't think about Chris. Chris. He said, I didn't think about the fact that he has children who are probably sitting at home watching that. Can you imagine the humiliation that Chris felt thinking about his daughters watching him get slapped like that? Can you imagine the humiliation that his daughters felt? You know, when we do something, we have to remember that most of the time, it involves not just us. There are so many other people who are affected by the things that we do. When I was in high school playing football, my high school coach said something to us, the same thing that my dad told us at home. And that is, when you're away from this program, like my dad said, when you're away from this house, boy, you represent all of us. So don't act no fool. So Will didn't remember that. So many people affected by that, not just his family. So many black people were affected by that, are affected by that. Why do I say that? Because I knew the haters were going to come out. I knew the people who are, I can't even think of a proper word to describe these people, but there's a judge. She's on Fox. I don't remember her name. It's not worthy. She's not worthy of me remembering her name. But it was either the next day or the day after, a couple of days after, she made a comment, and what'd she say? Will has to remember this ain't the hood. Well, that tells a lot about what you feel about people who are from the hood, huh? Everybody from the hood is not bad. Everybody's not good, I know that, but everybody from the hood are not bad people. And you just group them all together like people like you do. You know, we have to remember stuff like that, that there are other people affected by what we do, and handle it right. Yes, look, I also agree with what Steve Harvey said. He said what Will did, it was not worthy of the joke. The joke was not that grievous. I agree. It wasn't. Matter of fact, everybody knows, and everybody's been saying that Will initially laughed himself. Now, another question that's come up, and I'm not going to give an opinion on this. I'm going to let you give yours. Make a comment about this. Put something in the comments. What about Jada? Did Jada have any responsibility? And what about now? Does she hold any responsibility now? Because we know that Will was laughing until he looked over and saw the expression on Jada's face. And that's when he got up and committed that grievous error. Jada had made a statement later, I read somewhere, that she said that she did not need defending, which goes totally against what I had been hearing other women say. Matter of fact, Tiffany Haddish said something like, I wish I had a man who would defend me like that. And all the other women that I heard that were defending Will, it was based on that premise, that he was defending his woman, and that's what men should do. But Jada says, I don't need defending. What do you think about that comment? Again, let us know. Write something down in the comments. Let us know what you think about that. Now, another sad, sad tale, and that is we have another unjust killing of a black man by those that are sworn to protect and serve. This one happened in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You've probably heard about it. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that right now. We might come back and have some comment about that later on. But here's what I'm going to say. I'm very big on accountability. And yes, the officer needs to be held accountable. Why? Because that was an assassination style killing. He shot that man in the back of the head as he sat on top of him. That was an assassination. Assassination is something that's planned out, that you know you're going to do before you do it. That's what it looks like to me. Hopefully we'll get the truth of the matter as the investigation continues. But the officer, in my opinion, needs to be held accountable, because I believe that was murder. But there's somebody else that needs to be held accountable. The authorities, whoever he answers to, they need to be held accountable. Whoever trained him needs to be held accountable. I mean, these killings are so many unjust killings. Look, I understand that the jobs of law enforcement is not easy. I know that they're pushed. I know that they're threatened. I know all of that. But here's this is just my opinion on it. If you can't take the heat, get out the kitchen. Don't kill people to take them out. You get out of it. You should not be doing that job if you can't handle something like that. I mean, we used to hear about policemen beating black folk with nightsticks and whatnot. That's not good either, but it's better than taking lives. Better than taking lives. So if he was really scared and concerned, he should have backed off until he got back up. What harm would it have done if that man was trying to get away, which it didn't look like he was trying to get away, if he just let him go? That's what they do on high-speed chases now. They back off so other people don't get hurt. Something like that, man, if you're by yourself and you're scared, don't approach him. Back off. Maybe make him sit in his car until backup gets there. If he doesn't sit in his car, you got his license plate. You can follow him slowly. But it just doesn't make any sense that a man is killed from a traffic stop, initiated by a traffic stop, and he lost his life. Assassination style, back of the head. Senseless. Senseless. So I'm just going to leave that alone for right now. The slap, we talked about the slap, unjust killing. Let's see here. That's about it. I really don't have a whole lot more to talk about on this particular show because this is just a reintroduction of IET with Mike C. That's all I really wanted to do today. I didn't want to talk about a whole lot. But you can also expect some other stuff coming. We've got some very exciting things about to happen. Matter of fact, I'll have an announcement next week. Another thing I'm thinking about doing right now is I'm thinking about doing 2 shows a week rather than 1. I used to do 1 a week. I'm thinking about doing 2. I heard a social media influencer say that you should be doing multiple shows a week. So that's what we're going to start doing. Tell somebody about IET with Mike C. And I'm going to be closing the show with something that I'm going to do from this point on all of our shows. You know, I've lost a lot of friends in a very short period of time. I lost my brother, David Cleveland. Love and miss you, Dave. I lost my boy, my dog, my roommate, David Hollywood Fry. I lost another roommate here within the last couple of weeks, Robert Carr. Man, I could talk all day about all 3 of those brothers. Good men, all 3 of them. Good men, valiant men. But I just wanted to mention their names and give them some due and let you know that they were good brothers. But Dave, when Dave and I were roommates, and even afterwards, Dave would never say goodbye. He never, ever said goodbye to me. Dave always said goodbye by saying, "Be easy now." The coolest, naturally cool brother I have ever met in my life. And to me, even that was so cool. Be easy now. That was Dave, man. So we're going to start our exit song. And in the immortal words of David Hollywood Fry, be easy now.